Okay, hello guys. Welcome back to the Evergreen Rx. I'm your host Hayden, licensed mental health therapist, Ken Moon, and the first to get deep at any party. And I'm happy to be back with you guys. It's a new location unlocked. Just trying something different today. Just felt like mixing it up. You know, any of the TikTok followers, the YouTube subscribers, they get a little something extra with the pod. If y'all are watching on YouTube or TikTok, comment down below. Let me know what you think of the background. Let me know what you think of my new haircut. I mean, it's like, you know, it's been washed, it's been air dried. I'm not doing anything special with it. Honestly, it's a little lumpy, but what's new? I don't really do my hair much anyway, so let me know what you think. Unless you don't like it, then don't, because it's already cut. Anyway, welcome back, you guys. How are we all doing? I gua shed my face for the first time last night. I've wanted to gua sha for like probably 3 years. And you know, every time you go into those like boutiques, little stores, they always have one. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's like a face sculpting tool. Like you rub it on your face and it's like lymphatic drainage and it's supposed to, I don't know, make you look snatched. It just seemed relaxing to me and I always wanted one and I just never bought it. It like became this like thing in my head of like, one day I will get a gua sha tool. And then the other day, I guess that fateful day came and I was like, why don't I just order one? I could just order one. And so I did. And it came to my house. And something about it, I was like, maybe this is anticlimactic. Like I should have saved it for some like big moment. It's not like they're expensive. It's just, I don't know. But I gua shed my face for the first time. So again, any of you visual listener, viewers, you notice the difference? Okay. I did ask my boyfriend last night. I gua shed one side of my face and then I asked him, I showed him each side. And he did think it was the opposite side. He thought the one that hadn't been gua shed had. So I don't know, but we're only one session in, so let's give it a little bit of time. But anyway, yeah, that's probably the newest thing with me. So there's probably other new things, but more personal, and I won't share. But let me know what's new with you guys. Come on, let's blow up these fucking comments. Let me know what you think of the background. What about my haircut? And what's new with you? And can you notice if my face like looks lifted? Anyway, yeah, I think I'm on one right now. I think being in the new space, I don't know, I think I'm on one. But I'm just excited to chat and to answer another question this week. So why don't we just dive in? What's all the preamble? Let's just dive in. Okay, so for those of you guys that maybe are new around here, hello, let me just tell you, we are answering some questions on Little Miss Evergreen Rx this season. You know, I have 3 previous seasons of like a bank of wellness tools and tips and incredible guests and talking about a lot of topics that I think are really important to your prescription for living well, to creating the kind of life that you want. And so now I'm like, let's just open it up even more to a conversation between me and you, the listener. Like, send me your questions, ask me about your dilemmas. Like, I want to try to bring all of this into real, tangible life. Like, how do we navigate with the most intentionality and self-awareness and integrity and values and whatever? How do we do that? So I thought, what better way than to just get real into the real nitty-gritty with specific questions. So here's my little disclaimer, guys. Okay, you've probably heard it before, but these are just my opinions. I don't have all the facts or information about your life. This does not constitute or take the place of individual therapy. Even though I am a therapist, I'm not your therapist. Maybe I'm your therapist, but I'm not your therapist in this setting. This is the Evergreen Apothecary. We love plants. We love greenery. We love cute, warm aesthetics. Maybe. But we love the vibe of those aesthetics, which means like we're just creating a safe space to try things out, to explore, to learn, to figure things out, to do the best we can, and to create our own prescription. So always customizable, always fluid, nuanced. I think the internet can be so prescriptive these days, and even through answering these questions, sometimes it can sound prescriptive, but that's not my intention. My intention is to share what I know and my experience and my education and background, and to hear what yours is, and when I have guests on, what their kind of viewpoint is on life and how they create a life that feels good and joyful and fulfilling. So, without further ado, sounds like we have a customer in the Evergreen Apothecary, and so let's answer their question. Okay, so this says, Dear Evergreen, I spent most of my life trying to shrink myself, counting calories, obsessing over workout routines, making mental checklists of good and bad foods. Oof. I thought I was being disciplined, but the truth is I was never really happy, just exhausted. Over the past year, I've been trying to unlearn all of it. I threw out my scale. I started listening to my body instead of punishing it. I've been working on self-compassion, but it's so much harder than I expected. Some days I feel free, other days I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror and all the old voices come flooding back. My mom still makes little comments. You look healthy, she'll say, but I know what she really means. My friends still talk about new diets that they're trying, and I find myself hesitating before ordering pasta in a restaurant like it's some kind of test. How do I quiet the noise and truly make peace with my body? And is it normal for healing to feel this messy? Every time I read these questions, I'm like, ooh. So already I'm relating on so many levels. My God, how do we not kind of get into this mindset of good and bad foods and the way that they're talked about and what's deemed as healthy or not? And, you know, definitely that piece about the old voices coming flooding back. I think that is so relatable on any area of growth, whether you're trying to work on, you know, your self-compassion towards your body and the way that you eat and listening to yourself, or any other myriad of things. We all have those days where it just all comes flooding back and it feels like we're back at square one. And so that's kind of where I want to start with this question. That last part, is it normal for healing to feel this messy? Because I want to say, hell yeah. It's so normal. Healing is messy and it's a spiral. So this is something actually that, you know, if you were a fly on the wall in my therapy office, you would probably hear me say a good amount, that sometimes healing is going to feel like you're moving up and down a ladder, like you're climbing up some rungs and you're making progress and then you just climb right back down. Or sometimes it feels like you just fell right back down to the ground and you have to get back up and then start climbing again. And you know, while that visual kind of lends itself to making it seem like healing is linear, that there's like one direction that you go in, really it's not. It is more spiralic than that. But experientially, the feeling can be, you know, moving up 2 steps forward, 1 step back, whatever it may be. But it's important to remember, like, for one, if we're just going with the ladder metaphor, you now have the experience of having climbed more rungs than before. So the next time you climb them, it can be a little bit easier. Your muscles have built up, your strength, your stamina. You know, so each time you come back to those same rungs, you maybe have a little bit more left in the tank to climb a little bit further. Or, you know, say you have kind of a big moment, a quantum leap forward in your healing and you move 5 rungs up. Well, the next time you take 2 steps back, you're still at a further point than you used to be. And I think that's important to bring in when this person's asking, like, is it normal for it to feel so messy? Because I think sometimes that's what the messiness can feel like, is like, you know, I felt super strong and resilient the other day when my friend was talking about their diet, and in my head, I just put up that internal boundary and, you know, wasn't really taking it in and was reminding myself of all my affirmations and the way that I think about food and my body. But then when my mom said this comment the other day, it just totally like set me back. And I felt like I wasn't, you know, able to put a boundary up to that. I wasn't able to kind of feel as strong in the face of that. What's up? And it's like, well, because I don't know, we're different people. It's different days. It's a different, you know, source that we're getting that comment from. And so it might be harder because there's just more shit around it. Maybe there's more wounds around how your mom has always talked about your body and less about other people talking about their bodies or even commenting about, their diets or whatever. All that to say, again, yes, it's going to feel messy. Yes, you're going to have moments of clarity and epiphany, and then you're going to forget that an hour later and feel the exact same way that you have felt a million times before. I was just talking to my therapist about this. Like, each time we have these epiphanies, these clarity moments, these steps forward, we sometimes can think like, yay, I've done it. I finally broke through. I had this aha moment. And then we feel like we fall back and we're like, wait, sorry, what the fuck? Like, I thought it was over this. Like, we expired that. And really what is happening is that each time we have those aha moments, we're kind of tapping on the glass of our old perception, our old experience of ourselves. We're putting little cracks in it. And then the cracks get a little bigger. And one day, it might shatter and we step forward into a new story, into a new, more clear experience of ourselves, and we step out of that old illusion. But it takes cracking it over time. And it doesn't mean even when we shatter it and we step into kind of a new world, we can't sometimes pick up those old pieces and kind of look through that lens during given times. It's just usually that we spend less time there and we're able to catch it faster. That's really the sign of growth. So then with the other larger part of this, which is all centering around, our bodies, our experience of, coming into greater self-acceptance or love, especially when it comes to body image and feeling healthy, feeling comfortable in the body that we have. For one, I have a really good episode with Lauren Larkin, who is a therapist and she specializes in eating disorders. And we had a whole episode talking about body image. It's episode 29. So if you want to go back and listen to that, I think there's a lot of good stuff about it, especially, this first part of the question about kind of breaking through, feeling like maybe we're disciplined and we're taking good care of our body, but then really coming to that realization of like, I'm not happy, and I'm not as happy as I am when I'm able to listen to my body more and eat more of what I want and exercise when I actually feel like it versus, hitting the amount of times or calories burned in a week that I set for myself. So that's a really good resource for you. The comment that ordering at a restaurant, like deciding whether or not you should order pasta at a restaurant, it kind of feels like it's some kind of test. And immediately my brain goes to, what's it testing? What feels like a test? Are we testing your willpower or how good you can fall into societal expectations? And what does your body say to this supposed test? Because struggling with body image and trying to combat that through eating what we think is right and through working out and maybe looking the way that we think that we should look or the weight that we think that our body should be, we can get into this self-perpetuating process of, well, I am being disciplined and I'm doing the hard thing. I'm getting up for my 6 a.m. run. I'm eating 5 salads a week and I have so much self-control, so much willpower. But then when we break through that facade one day or maybe realize it's not actually making us happy, discipline isn't the only point of life, then it gets a little bit messier because we now have to make more nuanced decisions and we don't just get to kind of unconsciously follow a set of rigid rules. What happens when we create rules for ourselves, like foods being good or bad or a workout regimen that we have to stick to no matter what, we get to outsource our conscious decision-making process. So if you just make a blanket rule, like I don't eat sweets, I will not eat sweets, then every time you're presented with a cupcake or a cookie or whatever, you just default to that rule. And while you might feel deprived and you're maybe not listening to your body in those moments, and that there can be balance and room for everything in a healthy diet, you do at least get to kind of step back into that unconscious position of just brute force and discipline and rules and outsourcing or externalizing, instead of having to turn internally and listen to your body and listen to its nuance and turn inward to yourself and your own intuition and knowledge, which is inherently more of a gray area than these rules we make for ourselves. So when this person is saying, like, I find myself hesitating before ordering pasta at a restaurant, like it's some kind of test, that can kind of be what's going on. Is now they've relaxed on these rules and structure. And so each decision, each meal, each, hour of the day where we could be working out or not becomes this kind of fraught choice because we have to be conscious about it. And so what feels sometimes like regression, or we're falling back, or it doesn't feel even as easy as maybe the really self-discipline time in your life felt, it's actually giving us an opportunity to become much more conscious than we were before. Not be so much feeding into the sense of needing to build this willpower and this strength, but having the opportunity to test our ability to listen inward, to trust. Oof, this is a big part of it, is the trust. If I have this pasta right now, I'm going to be okay. If I put on a little bit of weight or a lot of weight, I'm going to be okay. If I listen to myself and I eat what I want to eat and I rest when I need to rest, my body may change, and that's going to be okay because I'm going to be happier. But sometimes these parts of us that are afraid of what would happen because of social conditioning or messages we're getting from our family, or, images we see of how we should look or how we used to look, those parts get scared, and that's where it starts to feel like a test. And we feel like we maybe get a little waffly on trusting ourselves. Because, oh shit, now I'm like sticking with it. I didn't just have a week of self-love and throw out the scale and be intuitive, but now I'm a month in and maybe I notice some changes and it's a little bit more uncertain or, unknown territory. So it does really call on a lot of trust and listening, like, what does my body say? And this really brings me to my third point, which is the self-compassion of it all. And this person, mentioned self-compassion, but really a big piece of this is self-compassion always. Self-compassion no matter what. Again, I have an episode talking all about self-compassion. But a big piece is we can always meet ourselves with self-compassion. So when or if our body starts to change, self-compassion. When we fall back into the old voices, when we catch a glimpse of ourselves in the mirror, self-compassion. Oof, this is hard. This is harder than I expected. When we listen to ourselves and we order that pasta and then we eat it and we feel kind of not great afterwards and we're not sure if that was the right choice, self-compassion. Always meeting yourself there in each moment. That's the mindfulness piece of it. In each moment. Okay, damn. I ordered the pasta. I thought that's what was going to be best. It didn't really feel so great in my body. Interesting information. I'll just take that in. And I'm going to have another moment where I order something or I make something and I thought it would be great and it didn't feel so great. And that's okay, because the goal is not perfection. We're not doing any of this to be in the perfect harmony with our body and, the goal is total self-love and total acceptance all the time. Obviously, that would be wonderful, but really acceptance means accepting even when we're not accepting. Even when we feel like we've made a mistake. I don't know if I'm just like getting totally up on my self-compassion soapbox. I'm hoping this is making sense, but you guys let me know if I need to clarify it more. But really, like getting caught in those old patterns, having a moment where we decide to rest and then we regret it later. Those all call for self-compassion and understanding, because that's really what being intuitive and listening to yourself is all about. So when you're trying to unlearn these unhealthy thought patterns around food and around diet and whatever other bullshit we get conditioned with, it is going to be harder than expected at some points. It is going to get sticky and messy, and we deserve some compassion no matter what. Because also a common fallacy with that is that, the kinder you are, the more compassionate, the more soft you are. You might have parts in your head that are going, no, don't do that, because then you're going to get lazy and you're going to blah, 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 blah. And they're these big, they come out and they're like, no, you can't do that. Because then you never work out and you never do this and whatever. That is the fear that keeps us trapped a lot of times. But the research actually shows the opposite. And when you're more compassionate with yourself, you're more motivated because you're not afraid of your own self-beratement and attack. And so it feels better. It feels more natural to do the things that feel healthy to us, or, to go to the yoga class we've really been wanting to go to, because we're not doing it out of punishment for ourselves, but out of a place of, oh, this feels good. This feels fun. This feels nice. I'm actually excited to go do this. I don't have to do this. I don't have to go work out to earn whatever I'm going to eat. I just want to, because it feels good in my body. And when we carry that energy, we come at it with such a different place. And I really believe in the mind-body connection. And I think that's a part of our health too. Okay, so that's what I have. I think just coming back to tie it all in, really follow what feels good. As good old Yoga with Adrienne likes to say, find what feels good. But really having that recognition and that awareness, that moment of like, I was being disciplined and then I realized I'm actually not happy. Listen to that, follow the feeling of what feels better in your body. And are you actually joyful? Do you actually find happiness through pushing yourself and being hard and critical? Or do you feel happier when you're able to step back and listen into your body and just notice, like, do I hold tension when I think about this choice? Or do I feel a sense of ease and relaxation? If you're at that restaurant and you think pasta or salad, I don't know, I ate this earlier and maybe I should have, the healthier option. Notice when you picture the salad, when you picture eating it, does it feel good? Does it flow? Does it seem nourishing? Or is there tension? Is there holding around it? And when you imagine the pasta, is there flow there? Does that sound nourishing? Does that feel nourishing? And people are going to talk. People are going to say shit. They're going to say shit. Let them say shit. Your mom might comment. Your friends are still going to diet. Everybody's on their own path. Sometimes we just got to let them say shit. Okay, Mel Robbins. Okay, let them theory. So let me know what you think. Anything you would add, anything I missed. And I will also have those episodes that I mentioned linked below on self-compassion, on body image, all of that for, extra resources and wisdom. And if you want to ask your own question, your very own question, and hear it answered on this lovely podcast of ours, mine, then email the evergreenrx@gmail.com or call or text 512-655-9888. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your sweet voice if you want to leave a voicemail. And if you give me permission to play it on this pod, I would love that as well. And let me know what you want to see more of. More episodes, types, topics. Keep up with me on Instagram and TikTok, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.